Welcome to Flow. Let's get started. Today we'll start off lying down. Bend your knees, bring your feet so they're flat. Bring your hands by your side, allow your eyes to close or find a soft gaze. And just take these few moments to come into your breath and come into your body. Every inhale, allow your belly to expand, your chest to expand. And every exhale, allow your body to sink a little heavier into the mat. Start to activate here, press into your feet, lift your hips up for your bridge pose. And then lower your hips down, just taking a few slow bridges here. Very foundational movement. Make sure that all of your toes are pointing straight forward. Your knees should be about hips width distance apart here. And just starting to find some activation through your back body, through your glutes and your hamstrings. Taking these nice and slow, but really intentional as you lift and lower. And now we're going to add a little bit of a march. So we're going to keep those bridges going, but alternate through your feet. So lift up your left knee as you press down into your right foot and lift your hips, and then switch that up. And just move from side to side. Hips lift and lower, same idea, being intentional here. Press down through each alternating foot. Feel the activation in the supporting foot into that hamstring and that supporting glute. Give yourself a few more of these, and then bring both of your feet down to the mat and walk your feet further away from you and flex your feet. So you're digging into your heels and come back to our basic bridges. So now your feet are a little further away from you. You're gonna find a little more activation into the hamstrings and the glutes here. It's gonna feel a little differently. Give yourself about 5 bridges with your feet further away from you and your heels pressing down into the ground. And with your heels pressing down, think of your heels pulling back towards your waist. So we feel a little more activation through the hamstring. And now start to add that march. So you're switching from one side to the other. You're lifting one heel, lifting your hips at the same time. That supporting heel is digging down into the ground. Not only digging down into the ground, but you want to think of that supporting heel pulling back towards your waist. And we take this about 5 times each side, just finding this little alternating march side to side. Lift and lower, we feel that activation into the supporting leg. And then after your final set, bring both of your feet down, bring your hips down, pull your knees into your chest, give yourself a nice tight squeeze. Grab on behind your thighs. Start to rock and roll yourself up. We're gonna come around to an all fours tabletop position. So however you need to bring yourself there. And from tabletop, extend your right leg back long behind you. Flex your right foot. Now bend your right knee in half. And then turn your right knee open to the side. Dial your right knee back to parallel and then extend your leg. We're gonna do that 5 times total. Bend the knee, turn the knee out, back to parallel, and extend. Continue to move through that. Now, the right hip will have the tendency to want to open up to the side. It might do that just a teensy bit as you turn your right knee out, but try to control it as much as you can and stay in a parallel position with your 2 hips pointing down. Just starting to build a little more heat, a little more fire through that right hamstring. And we're also feeling the supportive elements of being on your hands, feeling your shoulders over your wrists. On your last one, extend your right leg and then bring yourself up. We're moving into a version of a warrior 2, but on the ground. I call this a pirate pose. So you're gonna turn your right toes out. You're gonna be on your back left knee. Bring your hands to your hips and give yourself a few moments here of just kind of shifting forwards and backwards. So we may feel a little something into the left inner thigh. And now bring your right forearm down, reach your left arm up and over, and then do the opposite. Your left arm will come down, your right arm will come up and over. And we're just gonna move through these 2, just going forwards and backwards, finding a little bit of space and some movement into the side bodies. Do this a couple more times, your own pace, your own rhythm. Start to incorporate breath into movement. And then after your final time, bring yourself back to a tabletop position. We're gonna take everything to your left side. So extend your left leg back long behind you. Flex through your left foot and then bend your left knee in half, heel to glute. Turn your left knee open to the side. Try to keep your left hip square. Bring your left knee back parallel and then extend. We do this about 5 times total. Think of moving through molasses here. So it's really easy just to bend into that left knee, but I want you to think like you had a playground ball between your left hamstring and your left calf. So you really allow yourself some resistance there. It's easy to do any sort of exercise with just body weight. Spread your fingers nice and wide. Activate through the upper body by pushing down into your palms. After your final set, re-extend the left leg and we're gonna come into that position again. So rotate your right shin and then bring yourself up. So your left toes are turning out to the side. I'm just gonna spin around so you can see me. Left leg is in front and then just start to kind of shift yourself to the side here. Little small bounces. And then start to move through these 2 shapes. Left forearm comes down, right arm comes up and over. And then reverse that. Right arm comes down, left arm comes up. And just keep moving between these 2 postures. So we're finding a little more length into the side bodies. Continue to push down into your front left foot. And just find this nice flowy side to side movement. You can move at your own pace. Maybe you want to take a little bit slower. And keep moving here. Incorporate your breath into your movement. And after your final time, bring yourself back to your tabletop position. Tabletop position, flip your toes under and lift your hips up to downward facing dog just for a moment. You're gonna walk your feet up towards your fingers into a ragdoll forward fold. Let your head hang nice and heavy here. Bend through your knees. Give your head a little shake, yes and no. Maybe your torso finds a little easy sway from side to side. You can wiggle through the jaw. Keep the bend of your knees and slowly roll yourself up to stand. So think of stacking through your spine, 1 vertebrae at a time. Shoulders, chin, and gaze are last to arrive. And then we're gonna move up and down through this position. So let your head drop behind you. Pull your chin to your chest. You can roll your shoulders forward, back to your ragdoll, bend your knees, and then right away, roll yourself up. So think of moving through your spine like a wave here. We're gonna take this about 5 times. Shoulders up and back. Maybe drop the head back, lift your gaze, and then do the opposite, chin to chest, roll the shoulders forward, forward fold. And just keep moving through this. Think of your spine undulating, unfurling, and then furling back over. Have a bend with your knees. Let this be really loose. If you can't get your body all the way down, that's okay. We're just focusing on the length of the hamstrings and finding some movement, some fluidity through the spine, moving up and down through this ragdoll pose. We'll take 1 more set here, rolling up to stand. And then we'll meet together in a ragdoll pose. So chin to chest, round your body forward. From your ragdoll pose, bring your feet about hips width distance and parallel. Take a bend with your knees, so you send your hips back, and then bring your hands to rest on your thighs. So we're coming into a chair pose. Your hands are resting on your thighs, your hips are back, your shoulders are pushing together. Now bring both of your hands so they're resting on your right thigh. Extend your left leg straight back behind you, and then lift your left leg up off the ground. Now bend your left knee in half, turn your left knee out to the side, bring it back parallel, and extend. So we're mimicking what we did in an all fours position. Obviously now we have a little more activation into that stabilizing leg, the right leg. We do this 5 times. Bend the left knee, open the left knee, close the left knee, and extend. As you're doing this, think that nothing else in your body moves. You are using musculature through the core and the spine, but as far as movement goes, it's just through the left leg. The hips are square, like you're squeezing something between your left hamstring and your left calf. Pull your heel to your glute. Pull your core, your abdominals in. After your 5th time, we're gonna turn this out. Bring your right forearm down to your right thigh and lift your left hip. So we're coming into what's called a balancing half moon. Now, if this balance is a little tricky for you, bring that right hand down to the ground if you need it. Swing your left hand down. Now try to bring both hands down to the mat and think of your left foot pulling away from your fingertips. So it's like you're pulling yourself in 2 directions like taffy. Maintain the bend of your bottom knee. Now option to stick it out right here. We're gonna come into a little bit of a balance challenge. Bring your thumbs together. Try to levitate your hands up off the ground. If you fall out of it, it's no biggie, but try to bring yourself back into it. Bend your bottom knee, plant your back foot down, warrior two, right into a reverse warrior. Let it feel good. Pitch yourself up and back, and then move into your extended side angle, right forearm down. And then keep moving between these two postures. So very similar to how we did when we were on your knees. Now really feeling your feet rooted, grounded into the mat, feeling that space through both sides of your waist. Let this just feel really good, really, really loose. There's no specific shape that you have to hit. Keep the bottom knee bent as you can into that right knee. And just make sure you're incorporating your breath. After your final time, meet in a low lunge. Bring both of your hands down to frame the right foot. Bend your back knee, lower your hips down for a runner stretch just for a moment, and then start to bring yourself back forward to your lunge. We're just gonna move between these nice and slow. Just starting to get a little deeper into the front right hamstring, also into the left hip flexor. Just this little back and forth movement about 5 times. And then after your 5th time, hold the hamstring stretch. Hold your runner stretch. Hips are back. Flex your toes up. Let your head be heavy. Let your torso be heavy. Breathe into the space between your shoulder blades. Big breath in. Full breath out. Maybe you find a little bit of movement here through your spine, through your head, through your neck, whatever you need. If you've got to bend through your right knee, no biggie. Shift yourself back forward to your lunge and step your left foot up so you're back in a forward fold. We're gonna move everything to side number 2. Bend your knees, bring your hands onto your thighs, lift your body. Bring both of your hands onto your left thigh and extend your right leg back long behind you. Keep your hips square, lift your right foot up off the mat. Bend your right knee. Open your right knee out to the side. Turn your right knee in. And then re-extend your right leg. We take this 5 times total, moving through with breath, finding stabilization. Create that resistance for yourself with your top working leg. Maintain the bend of your bottom knee and use your hands to help you out. Actually push weight into your left thigh. If you fall out of it, no big deal. This is meant to be challenging. After your 5th time, we're gonna turn things out. So re-extend your right leg. Bring your left forearm down onto your left thigh. Keep the bend of your bottom knee. Reach your right arm up towards the ceiling. Think of lifting your shoulder, lifting your top hip like you're between 2 panes of glass. And now take your top arm, reach it all the way forward and around so both hands come down to the ground in front of you, but you wanna maintain the same shape with your legs. Now think of reaching the back leg back as you reach your fingertips forward. And if you fall out of it, that is okay. I just fell out of it too. This is meant to be challenging. Option to stay with your fingers on the ground. Option to bring your thumbs together, levitate them off the ground. Try to square your hips. Find that length. Bend your bottom knee, bring your right foot down, warrior 2. Flip your front palm, take your body back, reverse warrior. And now move through these 2 shapes. Emphasize length through both of your side bodies. Maintain a deep bend into your front left knee. Feel your feet really rooted down into the mat. And you don't have to hit anything specific here. And you don't have to go at the same speed I'm going at. Go at your own speed. Maybe linger a little bit longer in a posture if it feels really nice. Just make sure you're incorporating your breath. And after your final time, meet me in a low lunge, parallel low lunge. Lower your back knee down to the mat. Shift yourself back into a runner stretch, half split hamstring stretch just for a moment, and then rebend into your front left knee. And keep this going. Hip shift back and hip shift forwards. So we're starting to target into the left hamstring very gently, getting there nice and gently. Take one more set and then hold into your half split hamstring opener. And once you're there, you can have your toes flex back towards your face. You could let your foot be kind of floppy, let your torso be heavy, let your head, your jaw, your throat be heavy. Breathe into your belly. Breathe into the spaces between your shoulder blades. Take nice big breaths in. Take full big breaths out. Maybe you find a little bit of movement through your spine. You could take a little lift, like a halfway lift through your head, through your neck. Rebend into your front left knee. Bring your hands down. Meet me all the way down on your belly, however you need to get there. Make a pillow with your hands. Bring your forehead to rest. Bend both of your knees and then bring your heels together. So it's like you're making a little first position with your heels pressing in towards each other, but your knees can be slightly separated. Now with your heels pushing together, start to lift and lower your knees. Now this is an activator for the hamstrings and the glutes. We want to hit the hamstrings a little bit more, so I encourage you to bend your knees a little more. Try to get your heels closer towards your glutes. And if you're not getting your knees up super high, that's okay. Even if you're only lifting your knees like a millimeter up off the ground, we're still finding that activation through the back body. Just take little lifts here, and now add little pulses. Keep pushing the heels together. Just take little pulses going up and up. Smush your heels together. See if that adds anything. Hold for 3, for 2, and 1. Extend your legs. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Push yourself back to a child's pose and breathe here. Give yourself a little bit of release through your back body after working through the back body so much. Roll yourself up and come around to sit. Extend your legs long in front of you. Reach your arms up overhead. Feel your butt bones rooted down into your mat and extend yourself forward, seated forward fold. Feet can be flexed back towards your face, or you could just let your feet be kind of floppy and lazy. Every exhale, allow your torso to get a little bit heavier. Take big breaths in and take full breaths out. Slowly roll yourself upright to sit, and then bring yourself to a cross-legged sitting position. So any cross-legged sitting position or any sitting position, we're gonna end here. Bring your hands to rest on your knees. Allow your eyes to close and just take a few final moments. I always like to take a moment of reflection. Just notice any shifts you may feel physically, maybe mentally, maybe just with your breath. And thank yourself for carving out this important time for your well-being and for your health. Thank you for joining us today. And that's your flow.